Hey, what's up, Poppa-D riders? Welcome back to the channel. I'm headed down to see my mom today. I worked here at the hotel today driving a shuttle van. I got off a little early, so I'm headed down to Wilmington today. We're going to check out, and I have to wait till the bill comes in, how well my transponder inside of the fairing is working for the toll road. And then I haven't seen my mom or my brother in several months, so my mom doesn't know I'm coming, so I'm surprising her. Going to my brother's house tonight, and then meet mom tomorrow at church. She just doesn't know I'm going to be there until she gets there. Should be kind of cool. But come along the ride with me. All right, guys, that's what I had planned for today. If you're new here, my name is Tim Marshburn. This channel is Poppa-D Rides. It's all about long distance motorcycle touring. I ride it right here on Passion and all things motorcycle related. Welcome to the channel. You guys that are returning, thank you for returning. I hope you enjoyed today's video. All right, guys, let's head to Wilmington. We'll take a little quick tour by downtown Charlotte. I'm gonna run by the QT and fuel up, and then we're headed to Wilmington. Let's enjoy this day, man. This beautiful weather. Look at this Carolina blue sky, some high puffy clouds. Look at the airplane landing right there. I am over by the airport in Charlotte. But man, it's gonna be a gorgeous day, and I'm looking forward to this ride. I haven't been able to get out and ride for a couple of weeks, so it's gonna be great. It is 80 degrees. I'll take it, since I was almost 100 degrees last week and all week long. Last weekend before school starts, so start driving the bus next week. So let's go have a great day, guys. So we are only about 5 minutes from downtown Charlotte, 5 miles rather from downtown Charlotte. But look at this beautiful Carolina blue sky, man. The puffy clouds. Downtown is right there. You kind of see it through the woods. That's where we're headed. Over to the right there is the VA clinic here in Charlotte. That's not a hospital, that's just a veterans clinic, healthcare center. But thank you for all our vets. I'm glad they finally got a place here in Charlotte that could handle the load. For years, there's really no good veterans center here in Charlotte, and people would have to go to Salisbury, to an hour or so up the road to get their health care. Anyhow, guys, I'll catch you guys a little bit later on. Let's head down to Wilmington. We got about a 4-hour ride. It's a little over 200 miles to where I'm going. So, and it's 3:20 in the afternoon. All right, guys, there it is, beautiful downtown Charlotte. Bank of America Stadium right in front of us. The Panthers have a preseason game there, I believe today. But I'm going to try to avoid as much of that as I can. Stay out here on the highway and get through town. But this was my office for a number of years. I spent 30 years as a paramedic working in that city right there. And man, I saw so much change and so much growth of this city in those 30 years. Check out this little chopper over here, guys. Got him a skateboard strapped to his back. A little Sportster that he's got raked out there with a big front tire on it. You go, dude. Ruh-roh. Guys, right here to the left is Independence Harley Davidson. They're open while they're doing that. This is in Matthews, North Carolina. It's right. Basically, Charlotte and Matthews kind of come together here to the left. All right, guys, I made it out of Matthews, and now I am on the highway. So I was surprised by the number of comments that I got that they didn't know there were toll roads in North Carolina. This is a toll road here that bypasses Monroe, North Carolina. It saves me between 45 minutes and an hour and a half in travel time getting to my mother's house to take this bypass. And it's only a couple of dollars in tolls. And I have the North Carolina Quick Pass, which makes it even less. So that's why I installed the transponder into the dash. It's in the fairing right under here. And so when I get home, at the end of the billing cycle, they'll send me a bill and it'll show me where the tolls were. And it should show that this transponder triggers the little toll sensors on this road. There are no gates, nothing like that. They typically take a picture of your license tag and send you a bill. And really, on a lot of motorcycles, I don't know how well they actually capture the license tag, because you have a limited or an ultra like I do, the tag is so far up in there that they may not even be able to read it. Either way, I've had the North Carolina Quick Pass on a previous motorcycle, and I had the Quick Pass in my vehicle. You go to these stops here and they take pictures right there, and it receives the radio signal from this transponder. So it should show that it triggered the transponder. The biggest reason I got the transponder, because I don't really need it for where I ride in North Carolina. But when I do my 48 state ride, so I'll try. When I get the time, I'm going to do a 48 state ride in 10 days. So it's the Iron Butt 4810. So that's where you go and get a receipt in each of the lower 48 states in 10 days or less. I don't know if you guys just saw the sign we passed, but these toll roads in North Carolina also accept the Peach Pass and the Sun Pass from Florida, the Peach Pass from Georgia. You can use on these roads. So I'm going to get on down the road here on the bypass, and I'll turn the cameras back on when I get closer to Wilmington. I'll try to get you some good scenery of the country as we go down. But all right, guys, I just want to pop back in here for a second. I was thinking, man, I've traveled this road my entire life. I was born in Charlotte. My parents divorced when I was about 2 years old. My mother moved back to Wilmington, so I was raised in Wilmington, but Mom used to put me on the Greyhound bus, or Trailways Greyhound, and send me to Dad's house in the summertime to visit, and this is the highway that we would take. So this used to be the longest stretch of road right through here in these hills in the Piedmont of North Carolina. It was a 2-lane stretch of road, and it was straight up and down these hills, really narrow, and it used to take forever, it seemed like, to get to Charlotte. Now, back in those days, that was the 70s, when I was that age, anyhow, riding the bus. This road was a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, which it is right here still today. But the entire highway, 200 and something miles between Wilmington and Charlotte, was 55 miles an hour. And then on a bus, it had to stop at every little town along the way and see if there were people to pick up. So I spent a lot of time on this road, and I was just thinking about that and thought I'd share a little story about, I guess, my history here in North Carolina. What used to take me all day, it seemed like probably 7 or 8 hours. Now, this section of road will take me about 2.5 hours. This is Highway 74. We're getting ready to come over on the PD River. All right, guys, getting ready to go across the PD River. The little hogs going the other direction there. There wants some fresh peach ice cream, man. This PD Orchard's right here. Stop in there and get you some homemade peach ice cream. Man, is it good. And you get some peaches to take home, make cobblers or whatever else you want to. But we're getting ready to go across the PD River. Mar Mountain State Park and Lake Tillery, all that stuff, it's upriver from us. And then downriver, this goes into South Carolina and goes all the way down. I guess it empties out probably in the Little River and down around Myrtle Beach. There's the PD River. Getting close to Rockingham. Man, I hate they don't have races here anymore. At least not NASCAR. So this is the bypass around Rockingham, but it's not a toll road. But all this construction you see up here, that is going to be Interstate 74. And eventually this bypass will be Interstate 74. And it may already say that. I think it says Future 74 still. But once we get that complete, Interstate 74 goes on the other side up toward Winston-Salem and then comes all the way up by Mount Airy at the Virginia line. So when I do my in-state IBA, I'll be on that interstate for a portion of that ride to come back down here. Let's get on down to Wilmington, man. I'm looking forward to seeing my mom and my brother. Guys, I got about 100 miles left to go to get down to my brother's house. This is always a place I like to stop. I like to stop here. It's a good place to stop and take a break, get off the bike for a couple of minutes. So give me a commercial right when I start talking and make noise. Anyways, I like to stop here. It's a good place to stop. They have good food in here if you want food. So that's an out-of-the-way truck stop. And right off Highway 74, just before you get to Lumberton, between Maxton and Lumberton. You all right, man? What happened with it now? I'm sorry, I had my helmet on. I couldn't hear you. Okay. I saw you messing with us, pumping gas. He's got something going on. So I got some tools and stuff, but I don't think I can help that. It sounds electrical. Always check on the fellow brothers. Having problems, guys. All right, guys, I was up here at the Sundew. It's in the Pembroke area of North Carolina to get some fuel. Notice this guy on this bike right here having some issues. I offered him some tools and stuff, and he says he has a friend right up the road that can help him. Got some kind of electrical problem going on, if it's his starter or his stator, but when he tries to turn it on, it makes a little buzzing sound, and that's it. He said, I've been out riding, man. I pulled up in here, and that's all there is to it. But anytime you're out riding, man, always check on a fellow rider that may be in distress. It's, you know, make me feel good if somebody checked on me if I was broke down. So anytime you see another biker out, man, check on them. See if there's anything you can do to help. I had some tools and stuff. I'm not a mechanic, but I was going to offer him whatever I had that could help out. He decided to walk on up to his friend's house. So let's go ahead and get us a little something to drink and take a little break. We'll head on down to Mama's house. All right, I'll catch you guys later. All right, guys, I took my little break here. We go head on down to Wilmington. This young man is standing here at the air pump right there talking to that little lady. He came up to me and approached me, you know, and he said, I know people ask for things, man, and they tell you they want to get one thing, they want to get something else. And I've been in the lockup for 80 days, and man, I just want to give me something to eat and something to drink. And, you know, I want to get some beer. You got some money, man, to help me get some beer. And I said, man, I'll help you get a sandwich. We'll go in there and buy you something to drink, but I'm not buying you any alcohol. But I'll be glad to help you get something to eat, get you something to drink, but I'm not going to give you an alcohol. He said, I thought a long time before I come over and talk to you, man. That's okay. I was like, well, I mean, I'll be glad to take you in here and get you a bite to eat, man. And no, that's all right. He walked away. So you got to watch out for folks, man. They'll try to play you. And I'm all about helping my fellow man, and I'll be glad to do that. But people also take advantage of you. And, you know, especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere like this, anywhere, truck stops and things, be wary of somebody that comes up with a sad story, a sob story. And I just wouldn't hand them money. And I've done that several times over the course of my life, where I've offered people food, and, you know, probably that I can remember only one time, well, 2 times. One time this couple took it. They gave me a story there in Charlotte, and I was in uniform, and they came up to me and said, man, we really want something to eat. And then I asked them what they wanted, and they were at a gas station about a block away from Bojangles. Said, man, we really want to have some Bojangles food. And I went and bought them some chicken. I mean, like an 8-piece family dinner, and I brought it back to them. They were so appreciative, and I was blessed by being able to help them. But another time, my wife and I were in Charleston, and we were down there with a church group and that kind of thing, and we've been to the market there in Charleston, and there was a little chicken place. I can't remember what it was called, but we went to that chicken place, and we came back out, and I had leftovers because I couldn't eat all of what they had on my plate, you know. And I mean, nobody bothered this chicken. It was 2 pieces in there of chicken. And this guy was asking me for a bunch of stuff and wanting money, and, you know, at the time I was a lot more cynical than I am now, I guess. I dealt with a lot of you know, people just trying to freeload and that kind of thing. And either way, I said, man, I'm not giving you any money, but I've got this chicken left over. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'll be glad to give that to you so you can eat, and I'll even go inside and get you a drink. And I can't remember if I got him a drink or not, but I do remember he took the box of chicken, walked away, and went around the corner and threw it in the trash can. I watched him do it. But that right there is the reason why I don't give people money. Because their motives, you never know what their motives are. And I can only control my motives. And so I'm not going to give somebody money to buy alcohol, but I'll be glad to help them get something to eat. Alcoholism is just such a terrible thing. And I've seen it destroy families and lives. And I don't want to encourage that in somebody, or actually, I don't want to facilitate it or enable it. So that's why I won't give people money when they come panhandling, because I don't know if they're going to buy alcohol or drugs or something like that, but I'll be glad to get you something to eat. Anyhow, I'll get off of that. We head on down to Wilmington here, go visit my mom. Well, guys, I was excited capturing some footage coming into Wilmington here with the 360 camera, and it cut off again. So I'm gonna pull in here to the Battleship, North Carolina. I was planning on doing that anyhow. I'll show it to you real quick, but I turned on the GoPro. I wasn't going to talk during this part of the video, but anyhow, this is the USS North Carolina Battleship Memorial. If you're ever in the Wilmington area, you need to come over here and check this out. This road floods frequently. Last time I was in here, man, it was probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches of water on it. So hopefully there's none of that today. They've been talking about building a new bridge. There's the old Memorial Bridge. But they voted on it and decided not to. There's downtown Wilmington across the way there. And it looks like they're doing some work on the battleship. It is a great place to come and check out the museum. You can go down inside the ship. and check all those kind of things out. I believe they now have a water taxi that'll come across from Wilmington, the riverfront over there, over here to the battleship. So if you're ever in the area, come check it out. I always thought it was cool when I was able to come over here when I was a child, go up inside the battleship, and they had these great big guns. You can see them right there, right? And that's aimed toward Wilmington. You could get up inside of that turret there, and there's a sight in there, and you could sight downtown Wilmington and act like you were bombing the buildings. And I always thought that was cool. So I'm not even shutting the bike off. I'm not planning on being here long. I just want to see if I can figure out why this camera cut off. I'm going to take the battery out of it, put the battery back in. It had plenty of juice, so it shouldn't be a battery problem. Let's see what happens when I turn it on here. Yeah, plenty of battery. So I don't know what happened. Either way, look at that big propeller right there. We're gonna try this again. All right, guys, I turned the 360 back on and see how long it lasts. We're gonna ride around and maybe we'll go down through downtown Wilmington for a few minutes and check some things out. But I do believe the water taxi will bring you right out over here to this dock that's here to my right. The little girl's smiling, her mama there is taking a picture. Downtown waterfront, courthouse there. Courthouse right across the way there. Well, parents were in high school. They brought this memorial in, and they were standing over there on those steps as the battleship was put into place here in this little cove. And there used to be a waterfront restaurant. Actually, it was on a boat called Fergus Ark, and they told all the people that were moored over there to move their boats. And Mr. Fergus didn't want to move his restaurant because it was attached to gas lines and power coming into the restaurant. They're like permanently moored there. They told him to move it. He didn't. So the stern of the boat here, the stern of the battleship, actually collided and caused damage to that ark, that boat. That boat was sold, and it's still afloat. I can't remember where it's at, but somebody bought it, and they're still using it to this day. All right, let's take a trip and ride on over to Wilmington. Guys, I decided to bring you on a little tour of downtown Wilmington. Right there is the Atlantic Coast Railroad Museum. Come check that out if you're here. But I thought maybe do a trip down memory lane while I'm here. So this is Front Street, and that is Water Street. But it goes right down by the river. The river's right here to our right. Yeah, it's Water Street. Front Street's the next one up. And when I was in high school, the Coast Guard cutter, the Northwind, was stationed out of Wilmington, so their mooring for the Coast Guard is right up here to the right. Looks like they're doing some construction, so I don't know if I can get down very far along the waterfront or not. I'm trying to make it to Market Street, but it says road closed ahead, so I'm probably going to have to turn before I get there. I was trying to come up as far as I can to show you that courthouse I was talking about. Right there's the Coast Guard mooring to our right. No ship here right now, but the road we're going to turn up, I believe, is Princess Street, and it goes up behind my high school. And we used to have to run from school down here to the Coast Guard cutter, which was moored right here at the foot of Princess Street, for wrestling practice. And I was a little fat boy, so I didn't run a whole lot, but I would get down here, I'd jog a little bit. Most of the time I was walking. And then going back to the school. My high school was just about a mile that way. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. All right, guys, we'll go up Market Street. I'll show you my high school while we're in this this tour. This is the historic district of Wilmington. All kinds of shops and restaurants down here. So if you're ever in Wilmington, come check it out. A couple of good coffee shops down here. Port City Java House is one of those. There's a Cajun place back up here behind me. I can't remember the name of it, but come check that out. My mother brought my first trumpet at the music store that used to be right there on the corner. And then when I was in the Boy Ranger, she bought my uniform from her surplus store right up the street here. The theater's still there. The building right here was the Manor Theater. Now all of these old churches here have been here since the 1800s. Some of them maybe since the 1700s. You know, Wilmington is a historical city. So the Bergman Wright House here to our right, celebrating 250 years. It's courthouse over here to our left. Climb the hill here away from the river. Go up here by the high school. Bellamy House, I believe is what that is to the left there. Bellamy Mansion. They still have tours there. That's an old historic house. And then there's a Cape Fear Museum up here to the right across from the firehouse, I believe. Unless they've moved it. Cape Fear Museum to our right. And the Wilmington Fire Department headquarters is right here to our left. This white building to our right here is the Rose Ice and Coal Company. That's been there since I was a child and coming to high school. I used to go to this little store here at lunchtime and get me a honey bun. Our band room was back over in that building there, and that building where the bus is at there was the weight room. Over here is Brogdon Hall and New Hanover High School. That's the high school that I went to. And my parents also went to that high school. My brother went to that high school. They can show you something else. Looks like they're filming for something. Crew parking? Yeah. A lot of movies are filmed here in Wilmington. So they got something going on right there. This parking lot used to be a field, and that's where the band practiced. That building there was the ROTC building. This end of it is actually an indoor rifle range. Can you imagine having an indoor rifle range at a school in this day and time? Man. And then the band room is right here to the right. You find some little brick street. I used to park right here on this corner when I was in high school, when I finally got my license and was able to drive. I played junior varsity football for high school. What's up, guys? My brother played varsity. He played with Clyde Simmons and Bubba Smith's younger brother, Hambone, and Jimmy. And that's the field house for the practice field. And this is our practice field for football. Like I said, I played junior varsity, but I really wasn't a football player. That was my brother. So I only did that in the 10th grade. Then I pretty much concentrated on the band. All right, guys. This building behind me now, part of the school board system, but when I was in elementary school, that's the first school I went to, Lake Forest Elementary, other than the Head Start program. And I want to stop right up here in front of this building. I know earlier, we're doing my memory lane, guys, but earlier I was telling you guys about my parents divorcing us too. So my mom was a single parent, and we lived right here in this building until I was about 8 years old. So we lived over in those apartments for a bit, and then Mom moved over here. This is where we lived until Mama got her a good job, and we still worked here. And then she met my stepfather, Junior, who worked at the bakery right up the hill here. And after they got married, we moved out of the subsidized housing and moved out and kind of to the suburbs. So my mom was a single mother for a long time, taking care of me and my brother. Really no other support. And she sacrificed a lot for me. I guess that's why I'm a mama's boy. I love my mama, and I appreciate everything she's ever done for me. I don't get to come see her as much as I would like. So when I was 5 years old, I was in the Head Start program, and it was in one of these buildings down here to the right. This one or that next one is the corner apartment. It was a Head Start. And I was supposed to leave there and walk to Miss Margie Robbins' house, but she was my babysitter. And I didn't go to her house immediately after I got out of the Head Start that day. She came and looked for me. And she had a switch. And she whooped me all the way back to her house and dared me to run from her. Miss Margie would watch my brother and I while my mom was at work until she could get off and come get us and bring us back. And she lived in the Lake Village apartments across from Houston Moore. This project we were just in was called Houston Moore. And like I said, I lived there until I was about 8 years old. A lot of memories are there. Just riding around here is bringing a lot of memories to my mind, and how thankful I am for how I was raised and the love that was shown to me, and for the men in this community who were examples to me of what a man should be. I was in an organization called the Boy Rangers, and a lot of those men were law enforcement officers, firefighters, volunteer firefighters at the time. And they took time to invest in young men in this community and help us develop a sense of responsibility, poured good morals into us, integrity, hard work, loyalty. All of those things were part of what was instilled in me by those men in the Boy Rangers. So I'm thankful for every one of those men. Anyhow, let's ride around here and I'll go one more place, then I'm headed to my brother's house. Alright guys, one other place I wanted to show you was very influential in my young life was church. And we went to the Castle Street Church of God. And this little building here to the right was our church building when I was really young. And then they built the new church up here, which is called the Wrightsville Avenue Church of God. But this is what it was called. They may call it something different now. They call it the River now, but at the River at Wrightsville Avenue Church of God. So this is the church that I grew up in. So Brother Mazzell was my pastor when I was really young. His two sons also are now pastors. Ron Mazzell was my pastor, and Raymond and Stephen are now pastors in their local communities. My grandmother lived right around the corner here. This white house was our piano player's house. Her name was Sister Joy. And then right next to there was my grandma Lockmy's house. And I got a lot of memories in that home right there too. When I was in high school, I would ride my bicycle to school when I'd come by and check on my grandmother. Anyhow, the GoPro died, so I'm just doing the audio here so you know what I'm talking about. So this next clip that you see is going to be of the house that I actually grew up in out off of Greenwood Loop Road near Wrightsville Beach. It's actually the next day before I got out there and took that video, but I want to put it in this video since I'm doing memory lane. All right, guys, I figured I'd bring you a little bit more on memory lane. So after my mother got remarried and we left the projects, we lived in that house right there. So that's where I was raised. I lived there until I graduated high school and moved away from home at the age of 17. But my mom put that fence up. There used to be like 23 pine trees in that yard. They've taken all the pine trees out. I raked enough pine straw in there that I could have made a good living off of it if I'd have sold it. We used to pile it up and just burn it. Anyhow, this is a neighborhood that I grew up in. Down here at the end of the road where that fence is at, that's where the road used to end, and the woods were there, and I would ride dirt bikes back in those woods. When I was about 12 or 13, my dad bought me a dirt bike, and I lived there. And this was an empty lot. We used to ride around in circles in that lot right there, but they built a house here now. And then when I was in middle school, my great Aunt Rachel, my dad's aunt, moved into that house right there, and she lived there. So that's one reason I'm so fat. I was a latchkey kid. My mom and my stepdad both worked. My stepdad worked at a bakery on second shift, so he was always gone in the evenings. Mama worked swing shift, so there's oftentimes I was at the house by myself in the evening and fixed my own dinner. I learned how to cook. That was good. But Aunt Rachel would call me and say, "Timmy, have you eaten yet?" I said, "No, Aunt Rachel," even though I had. And I'd go, man, she'd always have some kind of good victuals fixed. And I'd go visit my Aunt Rachel. But more memories flooding into my mind, circling the neighborhood here. Anyhow, yeah, good memories, fond memories. All right, guys, I made it to my brother's house. Neither here his wife wanted to be on the camera, but he's got his pitball smoker out over there. He's smoking his up chicken. In the very near future, he's going to have a food truck here in Wilmington called Holy Smokes, but he's still working on getting the truck up here and getting it all set up. So we'll do a video about that once he gets opened up. He said he didn't want to do that tonight, but we're all here. I appreciate you guys taking a trip down memory lane with me, and we'll get to see Mama tomorrow. So have a good night. Catch you guys a little bit later on.